Hi, Miss Maynetta. Today I'm going to be giving the movie review for Life is Beautiful, which we finished watching today. Um, I'm to describe the social and political issues that affected the story. Well, obviously, the political issues that affected the story were of Italy being taken over by the Nazi Germany, and of course, that is how it forms the whole storyline of when they are taken to the concentration camp, and that is how where the story is based. And now the social issues is probably something that is seen more in the beginning when he's trying to romance his love interest, Dora, and she's obviously of a higher class, or she has more money, because she is often seen at these highfalutin parties with her soon-to-be would-be husband, fiance, and they are of important, prestige, because it is seen that they can afford that fancy restaurant for their engagement. And obviously, and her mother was in an agreement with the relationship she had with Guido, because we see that later on, when they already have Joshua, she hadn't met him and he was already 5, so she obviously fell out of contact with them. And so it is seen that it was frowned upon that a woman of a higher class would be married with a lower class male, like Guido was, because maybe it could be because he was Jewish and not of the Aryan race that would be considered a higher class. Now, 3 separate instances where the movie embellishes the real history of the events is when obviously they're in the camp and, Guido's running around doing all these things without anyone seeing them. Well, in a camp, like we presume it's Auschwitz, it would not be very believable that someone would just be running around. They were very organized, they were highly effective in their killing and in their patrolling of the camps. Hardly anyone got away, unfortunately. And something else is when so many people go up and check on them and no one notices the little kid. And it is very I guess it could be a chance, but not a very high chance, because of their high organization and because they kept track of where everyone was. And also, it's like a really, really, he's a very lucky fellow, before he, in relative terms, because he, meets up with his friend who's the doctor, and, at some point in the movie, you kind of hope he's gonna help them, and that would be a really, really high, really lucky of him if he were to have found his friend, the doctor, and he were able to escape. That's also an embellishment, because a lot of the doctors and the people that were in cahoots with the Germans were already brainwashed. They wouldn't have considered even talking to this Jewish guy. I guess if that's embellishing to the real history of the events, that is an instance where the movie does that. And the themes of the film it was obviously very romantic in the beginning when he's trying to get with his love interest. He does all these things, he's very witty about it. Also, happiness in life, because they finally have this life where they have pretty much everything they want. He got his bookstore, she's still a teacher, they have a very beautiful family. And then it's also addressing how politics affect everyday life to normal people, and obviously ethnocentricity and humans' nature about compassion. You're hoping someone will feel sorry for him, or something like the doctor again. Or, how he himself is trying to, kind of shield his child from all the horrors, really, of the Holocaust. And he does so in a really comic way to us, and that's how it makes this movie such a great movie. Now, the filmmakers are trying to tell us that even in spite of all these circumstances, one can still find happiness. Like, Joshua never realized that his dad would be lying to him about, the game going on or anything, and we find that this child is so happy at the end when he finally got his war tank that he didn't even realize his dad was gone or dead. And I guess they were trying to tell us that, life is beautiful in spite of all the horrors that you might be going through. And I think they were successful in getting that point across, especially because, once the movie ends, you see that, like, the narrator, which is Joshua, is realizing, the sacrifice his dad had to make for him, and the title really ties in well. Now, I did notice, like, the music of the film kind of told you when it was supposed to be a serious moment, a happy moment. Whenever he saw Dora, he got this kind of music that kept playing in the background and the opera. It was really a great way to, like, kind of play with the viewer's emotions, in saying, now is when you're supposed to be happy, and now is when you're supposed to be serious. Like, when Dora and her mother arrived at the apartment and everything was, destroyed, there was this, like, suspenseful, like, tense music, and you often saw that in, like, moments when he realizes, how dreadful her situation really is. And, it really did enhance the story that the filmmakers were trying to tell. And, how his emotions were seen through the music, and so were the audience told, pretty much, or indicated when it was a serious moment again. And 3 images that really moved me were when he, let's see, well, I guess when there was the pile of dead bodies, and really his face is just, like, you see, like, even though this guy is so, like, happy, and he's shielding his child, and he's being the best dad ever, he still suffers through, the camp. And even though he hides it really well from his kid, because really that's who he's hiding it from, like, the horror of it all is still there. And, he's saying it's a nightmare. It's like, I guess that really just, the first time I saw it, it was just like, I too felt the same way as he was portraying the emotion. And also, at the end, when it's all over and Joshua comes out of hiding, there's no one left, and the war tank rolls in from the Americans, and there's this child with pure happiness on his face. He's just surprised. He's like, oh, it wasn't a lie. And the American has no idea what's going on with this kid. But it was really for me, it summarized the whole movie in Joshua's perspective. Like, he finally got what he wanted. He didn't realize that in both ways, in his fantasy made-up game, he got his war tank, but in reality, he got out of the camp alive. And that was a really, like, moving moment, I guess, in an intimate image for me, because I realized there was all these children there that may not have realized why they were there, or, why is this happening to us? Or some that were too little to remember most of it, or that the ones that survived, if not, they got killed right away. And I think that was a really, powerful scene. Also, obviously, when he finds his mother, and at the end, the final picture we get is of them happily together. And, well, that's the one where he starts narrating about his father, and that was what got everyone tearjerker right there. So, the overall quality, it was a really great film. I thought that, even though some of the points may have been a little bit, exaggerated, like, he was really, really lucky. But still, it was a rare film, really, because no one really makes romantic comedies about the Holocaust. And I thought it was pretty amazing. I would watch it over and over again. And, well, it was a great film. I would recommend it to anyone. Alright, I think that's it. Thank you for watching Miss Magneta. Hope you like my rambling. Okay then. Bye.